This is the Lorain County Board of Commissioners Budget Work Session with Lorain County Veterans Service Commission, December 8th.
Good morning.
Morning, gentlemen. How you doing?
Thanks for adjusting our schedule a week ago Friday and agreeing to come in, and so you went from next to last to the last.
We always like to say save the best for last, right, Teresa?
Sure.
So our purpose today is to get educated a little bit. I realize that your board has control over what you do, but we have to answer to taxpayers, so this is largely for information's sake. For us. We are getting more attention. There are more people watching the budget hearings than watch the commissioners' meetings.
Oh, that makes sense.
And I think that's a sign of the times, you know.
Or the employees.
Well, Mr. Cynic over here says it's the employees wanting to see if they're gonna get laid off. So, this year's request was up about 27% from last year's.
Negative. It was, the request, when you're looking at your sheet, which I assume we're all looking at the same one.
Yes?
Right. Looking at the sheet you just handed me, it has change from 25 to 26 is 35.87%. That is how much we have requested vis-a-vis how much you guys approved in 2025. If you remember right, in 2025, our requested was just under 4.8. You approved a budget of just over 4, and then you got that money back. So when you actually look at what was requested versus what was approved, and then what was given back to us later, that number comes down to about 13%.
The revised ask, the original ask in 25
Was 4.8.
versus the ask in 20.
Correct.
6.
Yes.
That's what he's saying.
Okay.
We asked for some help last year, and he helped. So.
And again, that's our purpose, and we're trying to understand with every one of the budgets, needs versus wants, okay? We've got some obligatory things, veterans is one of them. And so as we look down the line item, we've got a pretty good increase in salaries, exclusive of the hospitalization. We still continue to provide both figures so that you can see, even though we're putting the hospitalization where it belongs in every one of the offices and departments, we still, for purposes of comparison, this will probably, we carried it last year, we're carrying it this year. Next year, we will have a 2-year track record of compensation, including hospitalization, and we'll quit fragmenting it out because it'll be everybody ought to be up to square.
Yeah. I think it's good to see what the hospitalization costs just on its own. So I actually.
You'll still have a line item for
Yeah,
hospitalization.
yeah,
But
yeah.
when we look at your personnel expenses budget, it won't have that separate carve out that says, oh, this much was hospitalization.
That's fine, yeah.
And and yours is one of those, I don't know how big an issue hospitalization is with veterans benefits. I don't know how many use the county hospitalization, how many use the veterans benefits.
Yeah, so a matter of fact, we're probably a lot lower than most, percentage-wise, than most county agencies. Of course, I have no way of knowing that, just kind of going by gut, because I don't know what your percentage of employees that use that. That being said, we do have a number of employees that are retired from the United States military who can access TRICARE and choose not to be on county health care plans. We also have other retirees that have retired either from OPERS or from Ford or things like this that are opting to use their retirement health care benefits as opposed to their the county. The issue with VA health care is VA healthcare, by and large, with the exception of like 100%ers, is not an insurance. So if I'm going down the road today and I get into a car accident, right, and I get taken to UH Elyria, the VA probably, well, more than likely would not pay for that emergency room visit. So for my like day-to-day, like I need to go to the hospital because I'm not feeling well or what have you, then the VA would pay for that. So for those reasons, we need to have insurance that covers that. Speaking for myself, I'm on my wife's insurance, but I can't be on my wife's insurance on my own. I have to demonstrate that I have employer health care coverage of some type, and that gets billed first, and then her insurance picks up the rest. That's kind of how that works. But actually, I was kind of, we hired an employee who, one employee left us, he decided to return to school. He was on health care with us, and he left, and the employee we picked up to replace him is not on health care. So there was some savings on stuff like that.
Yeah, we don't wanna hire just to make the savings, but we figure you just made the case in point why the commissioners decided 2 years ago to start phasing the hospitalization into, because you can manage it better than we can.
100%.
History told us that that employee that left might still be on the hospitalization in the county because, nobody said anything and, okay?
Yeah.
So you folks are helping us to manage that, and I think that's a win-win.
Yep.
There are approximately, just to bring some numbers, there are 13 employees that are currently, 13 veterans employees that are currently under the hospitalization.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's 13 employees or 13 veterans?
No, these are just employees.
Well,
They're all veterans.
they're all veterans.
Okay.
They're all veterans.
I'm
We only,
pretty sure Jacob's not hiring anybody that's not a veteran.
well, we have 2 employees that are not
That
veterans.
number this year is 11. We
Yeah.
just submitted up.
Yeah.
For 26?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have 2 employees that are not veterans. One is, he's our janitor, and he works for Murray Ridge, and he's, 3 days a week, no health insurance or anything.
Right.
And then the other one is a spouse and a mother of United States Navy chiefs, and she's our front desk person. But when you're a wife and a mother of people who have been in the military for 20 years, what we like about her is that brings a perspective of what the families need that we don't have, so.
Very good.
The expectations, she knows what the expectations are of her spouse.
That's true, yeah.
Big, huge help.
Actually, for 2026, it'll be 9 employees.
Oh, will it?
Yeah. 'Cause
You
Jackie's-
just did it, yeah.
Yeah, Jackie's
Just
coming
Jackie.
off and Samson came off.
Plus the 2, so it'd be 11 or 9?
No,
I think
9
it's just
9 for
9.
2026.
Does that include you, Jacob?
Yes,
He's on the C.
I'm on the C plan, so there's public record. I'm on the C plan. There is a C plan, believe it or not.
Yeah. Okay, so as we look at that increase, we've got about 7 or 8 items that individually are large. They go from 6,000 to 80,000, 10,000 to 100,000 in terms of 25 to 26. So I thought maybe,
Walk you through 'em?
well, or walk us through what, you must be planning something big.
Yes, we are.
So let us know what
Always.
your thoughts are.
Yeah, we're planning a lot of big things. First of all, let me go over, we'll start at the bottom and kind of work our way up. The first one goes from rent of 1 penny to $100,000 on the bottom. Of course, I think, are you looking at the revised?
No, we're looking at what Casey gave us.
And Casey is,
The revised, the,
that was sent to you in November.
yes, then that should be off that.
That, it should be on here, so rent. I don't see rent on here, do you?
I see it in the middle.
Oh, here, the building rent.
We got it in the middle, so.
Yeah, 100,000, okay, good, I'm sorry. So, 100,000 for rent. The building we have, we're actually getting ready to hire another employee, and we do not have an office for them. We simply do not have, a physical space for them, and that's okay for right now, because we're gonna be training. him, or her, for about 3 to 6 months. So the privacy thing isn't really that big of a deal. We also the board is also considering hiring another veteran service officer, which privacy is also going to be needed for that. The building we have is it's too small. We are, and I don't want to get into too much, because I don't know what's privileged or not, but we are looking at a couple buildings to move into, and I don't know if that's a conversation for right now or not, but
I would like to defer that because
Yeah.
I think we spoke about it before. We've just engaged Space Study to look at all of the county and spaces we own that we're not using, spaces, departments that have need of space, departments that have too much space. And so we want to look at that globally because it seems like every time in the last 3 years that I've been here, we make a change, we discuss about it, we uncover something that we wish we would have done instead of what we did do. So we're trying to, and the end goal is to get rid of excess space, but
Yeah.
yet provide, the secondary goal is give everybody enough space, but get rid of the excess because there's a cost of owning and
Oh,
maintaining
absolutely.
that space, so.
the,
We're trying to condense people and not own as many buildings as we do that are
Yeah.
half utilized.
yeah. The rent is I put in $100,000. I would imagine for the space we're looking at, it's probably gonna be double that if we decide to rent. That is a conversation that, we should definitely have, to let you kinda know where we're going.
Are we we're supposed to provide you that space, but don't we get the decision on what we provide?
It's complicated. Says suitable office space, right? In the suitable, my bosses have an opinion on that and are allowed to have an opinion. I've talked to a couple of you. The issue is my commissioners have the ability to rent. We can rent a building if we want to, and we can do that and pull that out of our budget. What we're not allowed to do is we're not allowed to buy a building. So if you said, there can be some tension, and not that I want that, but just kind of answer your question, there can be some tension, like if the Service Commission wants a building, we could rent that building if you guys say we're not buying the building. The other issue we're looking at is just not it's just not as simple as give us more room. That's not that simple. Based on where we're at, we have a need to be as close to the veteran clinic on Abbey Road as possible. We have a couple ideas of where that could be. We also have a need to be close to the college because we have a very tight-knit relationship with the university. So for those two reasons, like moving us to Lorain, puts us outside of the center of the county, right? Move us down to Grafton, it's the same type of issue. We would very much like to stay as close as we can to where we're at right now because it's a major thoroughfare. People already know we're there and we're close to the clinic. So that question comes down to what is suitable office space.
Well, plus there's the logistics of transporting,
Oh, yeah.
Right.
you know, the transportation costs go up if you're further away.
To need a parking.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're parking.
Parking. I actually took a picture the other day of our parking lot. It's so filled that we actually have to, in the back, block in employees to actually keep cars parked there. So we had an individual come in for an hour the other day, and they weren't a client in the sense of for financial assistance or claims. They were coming to meet with myself. I told them to park in the back. They're like, it's full. And I'm like, well, just block me in. So she had to block in myself and another employee while she was coming in for a meeting with me.
Yeah, Howard Hanna's been helping us out a lot.
Yeah,
By letting us use their parking space next door.
but when it snows, to ask people to walk
Right.
across
Right.
a mound of snow doesn't exactly work well. But I think we have some really exciting ideas for you in that area that would seriously benefit the county.
Working, and we could work together,
Yeah.
100% on that.
I mean, to the point where I think the county would massively benefit from it. Do you want to go over the software?
Well, I think that's,
That goes from 10 to 100.
we've got a 200% increase in repair and maintenance.
Where is that?
And I don't understand that if the plan is to move.
What's that?
The renovation of the building.
Oh, yeah. So essentially, if we do move into a building, whether or not we rent it or not, there will be costs associated with making the building appropriate for use. One of the questions I was asked one time was, well, couldn't you just get some cubicles or something like this instead of offices? And the problem with that is our service officers talk a lot about issues that are very sensitive to people, specifically their health, like what happened to them in the Army or the Navy or what have you. Some of it is deeply, deeply personal. And the last thing you want is to be sitting in a cubicle with, like if Casey and me were in a cubicle and Larry's the veteran and he's talking about how
Medical record.
his medical records and what happened to him and why he's having issues. You don't want that. On top of that, for FA, though not a health issue, it is an issue when you start talking about people's money, and the last thing you want to do is to be talking about how someone's spending their money inside a cubicle.
And,
So
and what
those-
their hardship is.
and what their hardship is and why they have a hardship. So the last thing you want is kind of people hearing that, and there probably is some sort of privacy, well, there is a privacy expectation when you're talking about your health issues or your financial issues.
Yeah, do you have requirements with HIPAA and what you guys do with as far as keeping people separated and all that?
Yeah, we can't have people in the office that can overhear what's going on, just like you go to your doctor's appointment. You don't meet with your doctor and talk about the issues or ailments you have inside of a lobby. You do that in the privacy of your office, and we have to kind of act as the
Wouldn't
same
those
thing.
kind of expenses you've delineated, you've got capital improvements of about 16,000 in '25.
Yeah,
But yet you're asking for.
100.
For 100,000 in '26.
Yeah.
Which is a 500% increase.
Yeah.
If you were gonna remodel, wouldn't that be a capital expenditure more than repairs and maintenance?
Couldn't tell you for sure what things come out of what area. Sometimes, I will tell you, when we have put stuff in for the auditor before, sometimes over 15,000 is a capital expense, sometimes under, and if you have different bills at different areas, then you have a bill for 14,000 that might be repairs. If you have something for $30,000, all of a sudden that's a capital purchase. Either way, another reason I put this in is kind of connected to the software upgrade too, and I can talk about that a little bit. And what that is we are currently using a system called EVET. Yeah, EVET Assist. Couldn't think of the last name. EVET Assist. The state of Ohio is one of 50 in the entire nation. And nobody in the entire nation does veteran services quite like Ohio does. And that's really good for each county and the veterans that live in the county. However, software systems are mainly built for 49 of 50 states, not Ohio. So why other systems like Vet Pro has no financial assistance software package, and that's probably one of the premier systems. eVet Assist has a financial software package, but it's not, I don't feel it is as robust as what it should be. There is a need for our county, especially, and if other counties jump on, there might be an opportunity for us to take advantage of that, but we are looking at developing a software program that can handle all the things we do, i.e. transportation, claims, and financial assistance. So let me give you an example. If Larry would come in to apply for veterans, for VA disability, he comes in and starts his claim with our service officers. During that conversation, the service officer finds out that Larry's having issues making his bills. He is then recommended to go to financial assistance. When Larry goes to financial assistance, essentially, in a lot of ways, he's going to have to kind of start that process almost over again. We want to develop a system, and we're putting together an RFP, and like to send that to Teresa for her to take a look at, to build that up. I'm estimating that that system at minimum is going to cost $100,000, probably, maybe more than that, probably more than that. So I did put extra money in there so I could shift that to software if I needed it.
Casey, I'm not sure, Jacob started, he kind of crossed over, capitalizing an expense is different than a capital improvement.
Well, yeah, so there.
So I understand that if it's over a certain number of dollars, you capitalize it, meaning you stretch it out over the life use of the item or whatever, but.
When we're talking about capital expenditures here, though, this is essentially a bucket, a categorization that the auditor's office uses for expenses. So Jacob's right, any individual expenses over $15,000, the auditor's office structures that as a capital expenditure. Not even getting into the accounting part of this, like actually capitalize.
Yeah, because capitalizing is a tax creation,
Correct.
and we don't pay taxes.
And for this purpose, for our conversation today, that's not what this is.
Right.
This is purely how the auditor's office categorizes these
Okay.
And I'll give you-
purchasing buckets.
And I'll give you an example. I had to buy a desk a number of years ago, right? And I said, take it out of furniture, right? Desk, simple, take it out of furniture. Sent it to the auditor's office, what are you doing? Well, I'm buying a desk. I said, what are you buying it out of furniture for? It's a desk. No, nothing comes out of furniture unless it's $15,000. What? Well, what do I take it out of? Equipment? So,
But
like,
we need some consistency there, because we just went through the sheriff's,
So there's-
office, and they're buying, every 5 years, they buy a whole slew of Kevlar vests, but they're not capitalizing that, and they have a life expectancy of 5 years.
Correct, yeah. So there's a capital furniture account. They don't have a specific furniture account. So they have this equipment that's supposed to be a catch-all for all this things that
Okay.
are under $15,000. But then we have a capital expense for, capital vehicles, capital equipment, capital furniture, capital improvements. Those are individual buckets that we have downstairs in the
Okay.
office.
That's an Oracle thing?
Yeah, that's Oracle.
One of the things that we've been discussing around the county is combined services for computers and our HR for the basics. And I had a discussion with you, obviously,
Oh, yeah.
about it before, and he is willing to work with Todd to, for some of it he's gonna continue to work with.
yeah, I'd like to have a conversation as I,
Our security, though, we're gonna be required, in order to get insurance, we're gonna have to pull everybody into one network security. You'd still have all your equipment, you'd have your IT
Yeah.
person that knows how to manage your software and all that kind of stuff. But when it comes to the network security, that's one of the issues that has made government vulnerable,
yeah,
is that you have, in some areas, some counties, you could have 5 or 6 networks. And none of them are robust enough to fend off the new class of smart guys. Okay, and so as a result, we have to upgrade, it costs a lot of money, but it's the same amount of money whether we have 8 departments in it or we've got 12.
oh, yes,
The only difference is the little bit of the hardware. you know, a couple $1,000s worth of hardware gets you into our network, which has our software
Yeah.
and has the encroachment software if somebody's trying to break in.
Yeah. What I'll say about IT is a couple things. First of all, and this was 4 years or more ago, my board elected to leave county IT and go with auditor IT. And the reason for that, 4 years ago or whatever it was because every time we called county IT, we always joked that we'd get last bite at the food because we ended with veterans, right? I sat in a data board meeting one time, and this was prior to Mr. Sharkey coming on, and head of IT, county IT, turned around and looked at me and said, wait, am I responsible for servicing you guys? And he had been on the job for over a year, I believe, at that point. And that was sort of the final straw, right? Our server was so out of date that Microsoft was going to stop actually servicing it for security reasons. Fast forward about a year after we left county IT, I had a meeting with Mr. Sharkey and Mr. Armbruster to talk about what they were going to do, and they never asked me whether to come back onto county IT, because I asked what the ask was, and they said, no, there's no ask here, we just want you to know what we're doing. And I said, I'm fine with that, and I think you guys should do that, and I think you should proceed, and I'm 100% for it. But tell me what you've done, not what you're going to do. And after my conversation with Mr. Gallagher, it appears that has been done. Now, I can tell you,
Yeah.
we have...
It's a different world than it was 4 years ago.
Right.
It is.
I will tell you, on some issues, we've tried to contact Mr. Sharkey, because I was talking to Larry. We've had some issues getting back in touch with him. But not only, and what I will reaffirm what I said to Mr. Gallagher at our meeting last week or whatever, I said, not only will I be willing to sit down and talk to Mr. Sharkey about Commissioner IT or County IT, I tend to believe I have an obligation to do so, to sit down and talk and find out what's going on. And that's what I told you, right? Yeah. I have to do what's best for our office, first and foremost. I have a very good working relationship with the auditor, but I am more than willing to sit down, and if that is what's best for the veterans of Lorain County, then that is what we'll do. That's my first priority.
We'll
Second
sell you
priority.
on it.
Well, first thing I need you to do is get Sharkey back in touch with us
Oracle.
to get
Oracle
Oracle.
passwords.
And I've also asked him a number of times.
That's not us. There again, that's the auditor.
Watching, if the employees are watching.
The,
Yeah, the employees are watching.
And I've also-
The auditor's the reason why we were breached, and we fixed it, we're moving forward. No need
The
to-
oth-
we'll have
But
these
some of
behind
his
closed
stuff
doors.
is not
Yeah, no,
yet
no, I
back
don't-
connected.
No,
the-
you can do whatever you want, but we need to be in a fort. We need to be
I agree with
protected.
you.
So we'll move forward on that issue later.
I also-
Not with everybody watching, okay?
Right.
Okay.
I also need access to our board that I've asked for. That you-
Access to your what?
To our board that's in front of our office that displays what's going on. I don't mind, you guys
When
should,
you say board, I'm thinking your commissioner.
no, I'm sorry.
Oh,
Our
The actual
board
board.
that
The
has
sign.
the sign,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
well, you guys are moving, right?
So, well, that's hey, your lips to God's ears.
Well, it depends on July.
Your
Because
lips to
July,
God's
if-
ears.
If this property tax issue comes on the ballot, you guys are screwed, right? That's your words in our public
Yeah.
hearing. Okay, so
Yeah.
my question, which I was debating with Commissioner Gallagher, is a lot of people that live in a bubble called government, okay, they believe that once the public is educated on the benefits that everyone provides, there's no way the public is gonna say, no, we wanna keep paying property taxes.
Mhm.
I'm of the opinion that if nobody is organizing, then it's gonna pass. And if it passes, the state of Ohio mandated this board to fund the Veteran Services Board, all right? That is a mandate.
Mhm.
But the formula will no longer exist because there will be no mills, there'll be no property tax. So my concern is, and Marty seems to think that veterans will rally and help promote, this, to show the benefits that you guys provide. Do you see that statewide? Do you see veteran services stepping up and combating this?
I will tell you this, veterans, there's a saying that Patton said, lead, follow, or get out of the way, right? I think there is an education campaign that needs to take place.
Well, everyone agrees,
Yeah.
but nobody is taking the lead.
Right, and I think that's something that the CCAO and Ohio Association of Veteran Service Commissioners and Officers could work together on to take that lead, because it's just not us that would be screwed. I mean,
Counties.
the entire county.
I've asked every agency that comes up, I say, how much of your budget comes from property tax?
100%,
They'll say 52%, they'll say this percent.
and we're 100.
But you know what? I don't see people stepping up.
Yeah.
I went to the CCAO conference this past week.
All three of us did.
Yeah, and I'm not impressed at all at any organized effort to educate the public.
Mhm.
And that's what and my concern is, people are correct that we have been overtaxed, I would say something else, but we have been overtaxed on our property values. And I feel that I have to prepare for the worst,
Mhm.
that it will be on the ballot, because if it gets on the ballot, polling's showing us between 60 and 70% is gonna pass. If that happens, that's why I'm saying that is I don't see, I mean, your board can go out and rent and do what they can, but what's gonna happen is, we're doing a space study right now, and we're anticipating where are we gonna be, how can we cut and how can we shrink government and make it more efficient at least, and still provide those services.
Mhm.
And I think we're getting our backs covered pretty well for how we can operate as commission, as our board is, because we have the ability to replace property tax with a sales tax. That's what we have the ability to do.
Mhm.
Townships don't, cities don't, schools don't.
Yeah.
So my thinking is with this ask this year, because I know when I came to you, and the total budget you guys spent was 2.2 million.
When was that?
In 21.
Oh, yeah.
I said, yay, we gotta get this money out to the vets, we gotta get this money out to the people.
Mhm.
So I take a look at your 2021 spend of 787,000 salaries, and then I see that, coming, your ask this year is 2.21 without benefits. I'm sitting there, I'm looking at 1.8, right, or whatever, I'm looking at those numbers and trying to back out the benefits, cause that wouldn't be a fair analysis. And then I take a look at some of these other expenses that went from 1.4 million to, on your other expense budget seems to be right in line, okay? So I wanna make sure that how do we know that these monies are going out to the vets and not building, employees from 780,000 to 2.2 ask, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't want
I
you to
can
be
answer
spending that
that.
money within.
No, I can
wanna
answer
see
that
the
question.
benefit going
Yeah.
out, right?
I can answer
So-
that question. In 2024,
Right.
out of 88 counties, Lorain County was third in the entire state. We're ninth in population, third in providing direct payments to veterans. Over just under, what was it, $1.335 million. That's third in the state. The only other two counties that beat us was Cuyahoga, who has 60, just over 60, and Franklin, which has just over 60,000 veterans each. So when you talk about pushing money out, we're pushing money out. On top of that, when you take a look at what we have brought back to the county, when I took over, the 2019 direct payments to veterans was about $68 million. I took over in 20, and since 20, we have increased that to over $101 million of federal benefits paid directly to veterans. That doesn't
See,
include.
that doesn't show up on the numbers here,
Right.
and what that increase needs to be out there to show that.
And that is actually done by the GDX report. We are looking at doing a annual report for that very same reason. As a matter of fact, we had a meeting on it last Friday, just this past Friday.
That's what the public needs to see, this is property tax money, what's the benefit that the public, our veterans are getting,
Yeah.
and that's what needs to be.
And I talked to, Mr. Gallagher was there, I talked to the Township Association, and I believe their Christmas dinner is coming up.
The 18.
The 18th, something like that, yeah. To talk about that. When it comes down to what we do for veterans, I would stack us against any county, period, stop, end sentence. We are, and I can't talk too much about it right now in public, but we are working on getting an agreement that will revolutionize how we can process claims for veterans. And part of that is two things. One is the building, right? Which, if we go with one of the options, the building will pay for itself. The building will pay for itself. The second way is the software system. The other thing that you need to understand, I think, of how we're putting money back into the community is a couple things. First off, the honor fund. That is creating more and more money for charities to go out to different agencies throughout the county. The other is our signature events.
Which, working with us, you three commissioners directly
Yeah,
award to the
And we
veterans of
appreciate
Lorain
that.
County. That's pretty unique to Ohio.
so when you talk about, so you take that 1.335, add 300,000 to that, now you're at 1.6 million going out. On top of that, if you take a look at our signature events, we haven't got the totals yet for the Revs race minus the expenditures of the Revs race. But the golf event, the car show, these types of things, now all of a sudden you're putting even more money into the community from what our budget is. Like I said, when you start talking, we are punching above our weight in just about every single category. And I know this is not budget related, but take a look at our Facebook followers. Just our ability to reach out to people in that way. We have more followers, last I checked, which is a month
Instagram
ago.
and social media
Social media, yeah, than the two largest counties in the state have.
combined.
When I first came on here, we had less than 1,000. So our ability to reach out is improving day by day. As far as saving money for the county, I've said this for the past few years, but it remains true. And that is our ability to reduce our transportation costs and actually bringing that in-house to save money. We went from about $3.50 a mile, I think, to $1.25 or something a mile. Our vehicles, we on average replace a vehicle maybe once every 12 months, maybe once every 10 months. So far, we've had no accidents to do like an emergency replacement. The new vehicles, we're going to start honoring the military history of Lorain County. The wrap is going to feature 103rd OVI. So every time our vehicle drives around the county, it reminds people of Lorain County's military history. And when that vehicle goes to Wade Park in Cleveland, that's going to be an advertisement for Lorain County and what you can do in Lorain County. Our other vehicles will feature Medal of Honor recipients or very famous military heroes of Lorain County's history. So these are ways, on top of just dollars, of actually putting the money into the community. As far as another way we do it is through advertising. When I first started here, this commission was paying approximately $250,000 a year
Crazy.
to send a magazine to veterans once a year, and it wasn't even a really good magazine. It just kind of said, "Come visit us." It didn't give any information about how much money we're bringing in, like Commissioner Moore said, or anything else. We decided that the better way to do that would be to advertise directly to posts. And what we have found is we pay for sponsorships for events that the posts are having. And when you pay to have sponsorships for that, and you show up to post events, and these guys are saying, hey, they're helping support this event, that's more money going into the community. The coins we buy, the medals we make for the race, that's all Lorain County businesses. Titania Metallic, that's right up the road in Avon. When we said thank you to all the donors for the Gold Star Memorial, the plastic was recycled plastic from a Lorain County business, and it was put together by a Lorain County business.
And advertising. Signature events like
and
that.
Okay. I get
So
it.
when
No,
you say
I
putting
get
money into the
that.
community,
I get that. I'm talking
we're
about,
doing a ton of it.
money to the vets, which is is that should be, we should probably get that as part of your budget. I would use that as
Yeah.
your budget process, saying, look, back in 21, this is how much money we're getting in, but based on this GDX report, look how much money we've increased and we've helped out these, let's say we have 20,000 veterans, you've helped out,
Yeah.
there's 8,000, that would be a nice report for the public
Yeah.
to see. Don't
Oh,
you
absolutely,
agree?
and I'll tell
Well,
you,
you also used the word pushed. You didn't push it out, it was requested,
Yeah.
basically. They're asking for this, the
Yeah.
need. And that's
No, but
very important
A lot
to
of them
know.
don't ask because they feel that others need it more. That's what
Yeah.
It does happen.
Yeah,
Veterans.
it's both, for
Yeah,
sure.
they feel others need it more than they do, and,
what I can
You've
tell,
done a good job at getting that out there, so.
and what I can,
My concern is we got 15 minutes, okay?
oh, I was just getting
I
started.
know you do, but.
Yeah, you gotta cut them off.
We have
I don't talk very much.
My main concern here is, working with Todd and working with KC.
Yeah.
Those two things, and when I say that, I'm talking about, Job and Family Services, they got their IT, but we don't have anything to do with a lot of theirs because it's directly with the state of Ohio, directly with the feds, which you probably have the same thing,
No.
don't you? You don't have any software you directly? Not, okay,
Not from feds or state, no.
okay, so you don't have anything that you're getting with benefit, so you guys don't deal with that yet? You're saying there's some things that could be coming?
What, I don't understand.
Well, they deal with a lot of personal issues with, people with Job and Family Services maybe that are not a part of our system.
Oh,
So
no.
the state of Ohio has their own that we don't even, that's not a
Yeah.
part of our.
Well,
service.
EVAT assist,
He
EVAT
probably was
assist would
talking
be
about
one of
using
those
the different
examples.
Yeah, I
systems to
think-
look at
yeah,
income
wouldn't
and job
EVAT
verification.
assist-
Oh,
That's
that,
what he's
yeah.
talking about.
So
EVAT
that would,
assist
so they would have their own.
Yeah,
fork.
that's our
They'd
software.
have their own fork. So my thinking is this, it's like basically, is working with Sharkey, getting within our fort, okay, that's key number one.
Mhm.
If you wanna be under the auditor's fort, then we're gonna have a problem, because that's the breach. And I'm stopping that.
Mhm.
And if we can do it financially through a budget.
Well, it's also being
That's a
mandated.
wait, I'm sorry, I'm an angry man right now, so.
I couldn't tell.
I know. No, because we have dealt with this for about
We have-
8 months,
We
right?
have passed a policy.
Yeah, and the
And-
state of Ohio.
And
Or
the
the
state of
Ohio.
Ohio,
You gotta make sure
and
we're on
we
this IT
have
thing.
announced that everybody, in order for us to get our insurance, everybody has to be in one network.
And the cost to our insurance is there's no way, the money that is spent on this kind of stuff
Understood.
is something that we can't take on our own, so we need that insurance. To get that insurance, we need to make sure that you're warm and fuzzy with KC and you're warm and fuzzy with Todd. If not, we fix it now, the next 2 weeks.
What's the issue with KC?
Oh, we'll be talking
what-
with budgets,
Yeah,
working with the numbers, and making sure we can get in with what we need to get in
Oh,
there, okay?
but we only have a couple of minutes. Can I have,
Yeah, yeah.
can I have
Well,
the
yeah,
microphone back?
I was quiet for 20 minutes, I thought that was pretty good for me.
Would
think
you
it
like
was
me to
me. I
post
didn't
this
say
up on the
much.
screen?
What's that?
Would you like me to post this on the screen?
The spreadsheet, you
Yeah.
normally put them. on
Yeah.
the-
Sorry, I meant to.
Yeah.
Alright, let's do that first.
But for instance, one of the things that, again, I understand your board controls this, but one of the things the taxpayers are gonna see and ask questions about is you're having a $322,000 increase in personnel cost, and you still have people you wanna hire above that. And down below, you're anticipating relief allowances of 550, so you're spending 322 to get 550. And first question is, that's a 35% increase in relief expenses, what do you see that we don't know about? And secondly, do we have to spend 322 to get 550 out into the community?
What I would say is, what I'm tracking for employee pay is $125,000 increase, not a $300,000 increase.
I think he's looking at where your projected 25 spend is. The
I-
projected employee spend, I think, all in was going to be about 1.8, it looks like, based on what's the last two pay grades.
I
of the year.
I am showing on my employee payroll, where is it? I will probably have about $119,000 left over, is what I'm projecting, maybe 115, because I have 2 pays left that haven't come out of this number. So with that being said, one of the things, first of all, you're looking at we are hiring another person, right? Secondly, we want to hire another person, and I always like.
A second other person.
Yeah, 2 other people. So we were debating on whether to do that this year, and that's one of the reasons we put that in here, to give us the flexibility to do that. If we don't use that money, then it gets returned. Fact of the matter is, the fact that you're gonna be left with maybe $100,000 left in payroll, I would argue is probably a good thing, if you're trying to trim budgets. So yes, when we project these things, because keep in mind, this is a projection that I initially have to turn in May, right? And ever since I've been here, the deal with you guys have been, by law, give us what you think you're gonna need, and then adjust fire before Thanksgiving, and that's what we did again this
Yeah,
year.
and we also expecting attrition in the next
Oh, yeah.
5 years.
Yeah, we are expecting some attrition, but that will kind of dip and then go back up, yeah.
And are you growing your board? Because you've got a 7% increase for the board.
No, we're not growing the board. Where's the board member?
No, line number 2 up under personnel expenses.
Yeah. Hold on, line number
Was
2, board.
62 and 25, projected spend is 71.
Hold on, I'm looking for it. I'm looking at board members.
We're down 6.
I'm seeing a reduction on mine. I'm looking at 82 to 77.
I think the projection for the board is gonna be about 72 this year.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, look at, no, board members, approved budget for 25 on yours is 82. Requested budget for 26 is 77.
But I think what he's referring to is, I think, actual spend this year is gonna be 72,
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
with the last two.
Right, so that's-
We have, yeah.
So I haven't
But
increased
there's an
it.
Increase to 77, so the question
okay.
is, board
Yeah,
compensation.
no.
Is it going up and down, or is the
No,
membership going
it's
up and down?
steady, that's why I reduced it.
The approved budget over here was,
I understand that.
Yeah,
But
I
the
re-
spend was 71, and the request is now 77.
Yeah, but I requested 82 last year,
Right,
and when I put the 70, so that's why I decreased it.
okay,
The reason I decreased it but didn't take it down to 72 was there was a conversation about possible pay raises for my commissioners. And so therefore I,
So you kinda just, yeah, okay.
I know, I see.
Just hoping to get some pay raises.
but it's not gonna, unless you guys approve that at the next meeting, it's not gonna happen.
yeah.
So,
I'm only concerned as we try and figure out the need versus want, and there's a big increase, and there's about 5 items, Jacob, that had budget line item allowances in 25, that had 0 spend in
Yeah.
25. But now we wanna provide another allowance for 26, and the question is, what's going on? And the second one is the gas mileage reimbursement. There was a $5,000 allocation, only 300 was spent this year,
yeah,
but we wanna go back to 5,000 next year, so, I'm trying to find the actual factual basis for these increases.
yeah, first of all, it's not an increase if it's the same amount. This,
Well,
as,
But you didn't spend it
I
last
did,
year.
right, I
So
did not spend it.
what's gonna happen in 26?
Sometimes that money will actually get transferred out in different ways to other,
Salaries.
no, can't transfer to salaries unless you guys approve that. But I can transfer it anywhere else, so there's that. Keep in mind that what does my budget need to be, how much money at a minimum do I need to turn into you guys at the end of every year? What's the amount? It's 300,000. I don't do zero-based budgeting. My goal is not to come in at 0 on December 31st. My goal is to come in at 300,000, because that 300,000 funds the honor fund for the following year
That they distribute.
that you guys distribute. So when you go, hey, why are you coming in with 300,000 or whatever over? Well, the reason for that is I have to come in $300,000 over in order to fund the honor fund for the following year, because the way the resolution is written, the money comes not out of the unused millage or unused millage or unrequested millage. It comes exclusively out of what was not spent out of the budget. So if I returned $200,000 all in, all the accounts, all in, unless you guys would only fund the honor fund at the $200,000 mark. So is there some things built in? Absolutely, there's things built in, because I can't have, if I come in zero, my board's gonna be looking at me going, what the hell? We told you to keep $300,000 in there. So you start, and I had them run the numbers on Friday where we're at, and talking about relief. We have $371,000 left in relief for the year. We have one more meeting. So you take a look at that, and you take a look at payroll, which are the two biggest remaining, and you got $219,000 left in payroll. So we're gonna be good, but when you subtract the honor fund from that, all of a sudden, now you're a couple $100,000 left after a $4.8 million budget.
So in other words, the surplus you have in your expense accounts will should equal $300,000 to cover the
Or more.
at the end of the year.
Or more, but only 300,000,
So
yeah,
In the
transfers.
past, we spent 500,000 or more.
So the concern becomes though, that we're double counting that $300,000.
Yeah.
That $300,000 is already a part of our grand general fund budget.
Yes.
So if we're doing it that way, that's a problem with the math, because we are essentially double counting that
That's what I
300,000.
just sent you, so.
Well, in the budget that you sent me for this year, honor fund is, budget requested, okay, you did put it in there, never mind. I thought it was, never mind. I'm talking on my
You guys
ass.
can work out how to fix that in our system so it doesn't skew it.
Essentially, we're putting that $300,000 right now, the agreement, we put that $300,000 in there, it's already in the budget for this year.
Not in their budget. What we do is we have a separate line item that comes out of the
Right.
general fund.
It's a separate
That pays for
budget,
the honor
that's
fund.
not part of this budget.
Actually, for them to budget the honor fund
It would be inappropriate.
would be inappropriate, because their rules don't let them spend money
Right.
for the
Right.
things
But
that
when
the
we're-
honor fund
right.
does.
Right, so
That's
when
100%
we're talking about our.
So they have to give us money back, and we have to have an honor fund, not them.
When we're talking about that general fund money though, with our general fund budget as a whole, we have a $300,000 line
I
in
know we
there
do.
already.
I know.
So we are essentially, based on this conversation today, we're essentially double counting that $300,000
No,
twice.
I don't think you
We're
are.
hoping that he will be generous like he was last year.
Yeah, and I will tell you what our millage is for this year, where is it? For 2026,
5.8 is it, or is it more than that?
5.9, $5,982,974. So that's 0.5%. Our budget ask for this year, excuse me, is $5,439,000 total. So you're looking at, we're not even asking for $500,000 that in theory we could ask for.
Yeah.
So if you want to redo the honor fund so that it comes out of the unused millage,
Is that language in the resolution?
yes,
Okay.
the budget.
But based on so it's
Well,
$300,000
let's
based
take a
on
look,
that.
let's take a look at the
Yeah.
resolution.
Right.
What do you think the spend's gonna be in 25? Cause 24 was 3 million, 3.5 million. So what do you think
I'm sorry.
Probably the total spend this year.
what do you think the
I-
total
Where are we
spend's
gonna
gonna be
end
for 25?
Well,
Got 2 more weeks. but
yeah, so, I mean, I'll know more after like
ballpark-
Friday,
Ballpark.
because that's gonna be our last, but first of all, we didn't request about $500,000, so $500,000 right off the top, right? On top of that, the two biggest funds that I have left over right now are wages and employees, so that's about 235 combined with the commissioners, and then the relief allowances right now are 371. So you're looking at probably just about $1 million.
I don't even know.
Between,
What I'm asking is, you spent 3.5 in 24, so how much are you gonna spend in 25?
yeah, so if you're looking at probably 4.5,
4.5, so $1 million more than last year,
yeah.
or the year before, okay,
That's what that's doing quick math, right? That's me
Yeah.
kinda
okay.
off the
That's
hill.
fine. I had about 4.3,
Yeah.
but without knowing the release, what the big ticket items were on the release side of things. I
Yeah.
had about 4.3 taken in
Yeah.
payroll and account. and everything like
Okay.
that.
So, I mean, I can't thank you guys enough for all the support that you've given us, and I do look forward to having a conversation with you about the building ideas. We have some really interesting ideas that would actually profit the county.
Just hold that thought to the beginning of the second quarter when the study is done.
Well, I'd like to have a conversation prior to let you know where we're at.
Tell the consultant.
Yeah, I like that, tell them what you need, and the bottom line here is I'm kinda gonna be holding.
That's why we're hiring an impartial third party that designs office space for a living.
It doesn't know anybody in the county.
Doesn't know anybody in the county, doesn't have any relatives here, you know.
No
Well,
friends.
some of it has to do with his location in the facility itself, so it'd have to be something close by where he's at.
Yeah,
Well,
they would take all that into account.
Well, if you can get me the consultant, I'd like to talk to them.
oh, yeah.
I believe, I don't know if the contract has been executed yet. It's been approved by the commissioners, but I don't know if it's been executed yet. So as soon as it is, we can ask them to put you at the top of the list.
Okay, we're good. So,
Okay?
thanks, Jim.
Yeah, and
Thanks
have,
for coming in. I
yeah,
appreciate it.
have Sharkey reach out to me. More than happy to have a conversation with him.
Good?
Thanks,
Okay.
Jacob.
Yep,
Thanks.
no problem.
Okay,
Thank
Ty,
you.
we're done.
That's the last one. Thanks, Todd.
I think that language in that resolution, if we can take a look at that, and add that 300,000 come